Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. Today we're at Holmes Honda in Shreveport, Louisiana to take a look at the 2023 Honda Accord Hybrid Touring. And we're going to present some information to help answer the question, is the Honda Accord better than ever? Being that this is the hybrid touring trim level, you are going to have a lot of additional features compared to what you would on lower trim levels. Obviously, the Accord is fully redesigned for 2023 with a lot of additions and a lot of changes. In the initial stages of any time a vehicle comes out and it's been fully redesigned, most of the time, a lot of people don't receive it very well. It takes a little time to grow on them. But we've started to see that happen with the Accord, a little more than we did early on as far as the 11th generation goes. So let's dig in to this particular model and see if it really is better than ever. For 2023, the Accord is meant to look more sporty. And when you go with the hybrid powertrain, it definitely has a more sporty feel to it, even though I know a lot of us are missing that 2.0T, the turbocharged engine that made 252 horsepower. But try one of these out before you make any decisions about whether it's really something to buy or not without that engine combination as an option. LED daytime running lights, you can see the full redesign of the headlight housing and the sensors here on the front end. That means you're going to have the parking sensors front and rear. You will also have Honda sensing, so all of those great features such as lane keeping assist, road departure mitigation, traffic jam assist, adaptive cruise control, it's all here. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there who are saying, I'd like to have all-wheel drive available as an option for the Accord. Front-wheel drive is standard. It's the only option available. Tell me what your thoughts are on all-wheel drive. Why would you like to have all-wheel drive available on the Honda Accord? And since we're talking about that particular area of the vehicle, let's talk about tire and wheel size. 235 on the width, a 40 series sidewall, and even though that's a fairly low-profile tire, you're still going to have a pretty good ride quality. All of that wrapped around a 19-inch wheel. The lunar silver exterior, we're going to have the body color mirror caps. Turn signal indicators are built in to the power adjustable and heated manually folding side view mirrors. You do have a proximity key with the walk-away feature. Here's what it looks like. It does have remote start, so I know that makes a lot of you very happy. And when you lock the interior, it will also lock this gas door so people can't just walk up and try to put something in your gas tank if they so desire to do so. And gone are the former tail lights, the crab claw or stapler style, as a lot of people call them, tail lights in favor of what we have here. What do you think about that? And one thing that's very interesting here, you don't typically see this with a hybrid model vehicle, and that is the fact that whether you go hybrid or non-hybrid with the Accord, you will have 16.7 cubic feet of cargo capacity. So I'll show you how to maximize that, and we'll lower down just one side. I think it's pretty easy to figure out what it looks like with both sides lowered down. Not a big deal. You do not have a spare tire here, a tire repair kit, so, well, make your decisions accordingly on what that does for you. I know some people would rather have a spare tire with that. The reason why these hybrid models typically don't come with a spare tire is to save weight. I have honestly thought about getting one of these hybrid Accords and then a non-hybrid, or excuse me, a hybrid, and just putting a spare tire in the trunk area and driving with that in there and with it not in the trunk and seeing what the MPGs are and seeing what the true comparison is. I'd be curious to know how much of a difference does it really make, if any at all. And here under the hood, the hybrid powertrain, it's a combination of the naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder and obviously the dual motor electric setup. 204 horsepower combined, 247 pounds-feet of torque. Made it to an e-CVT, and here's the thing, this is not a plug-in hybrid. You don't have to concern yourself with charge capacity whatsoever. As long as you have gas in the fuel tank, in your gas tank, no worries. You're not going to have to concern yourself with, can I make it home if you're stuck in traffic for a long time, especially in cold weather. That's one of the biggest problems with full EVs. Any battery struggles to maintain charge capacity in cold weather. The colder it gets, the harder it is. And how about MPGs? 46 city, 41 highway, 44 combined, and 2.3 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. Now you might wonder, those MPGs on city and highway, they're flip-flopped compared to what you would normally see. That's because more often than not, when you're driving out on the highway, you're going to be using the gas engine, that 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, and that's why the MPGs flip-flop like that. You'll be more likely to use the hybrid end of things in the city than you will out on the highway. What will your rear seat passengers find? Well, they'll find a nice, comfortable armrest. I usually like to put my arm up there instead of doing what most people do and using the poke test, as if you're testing for the doneness of a steak. Put your arm up there, it really tells you how comfortable that is. The door bind's really more of a bottle holder than a door bind, but it could be used as a door bind just to store whatever snacks and whatever in there. And we will have the fold-down armrest here with the drink holders built in and a nice, comfortable feel to that. And we'll hop inside here. There is a rear seat pocket. Let's get that correct. Pocket. Yeah, you can laugh that I mispronounced that. A rear seat pocket on the passenger side seat, or the rear of the passenger side seat. And good news, if you're hoping to have rear air conditioning vents in the back seat here on the rear of the center console, they are here, as well as the dual USB ports. Something else that I know a lot of you said you were hoping for with the 23 version of the Accord, a panoramic sunroof. Just the conventional style here, no changes there. Tell me what your thoughts are. And we'll take a look into the front seat through the passenger side door to begin with. A little bit larger door, so that means a little bit more real estate. For the armrest, a larger door bin. And here is some really good news. Here on the hybrid touring trim level, we're going to have the power adjustable seats for the driver and the passenger, heated and ventilated. That's right. That is always a good thing, especially when you live down here in the South, in Louisiana where I do. Ventilated seats are a must-have during this time of the year. And a little bit of gloss black across the dash in some areas that are not as likely, at least in my opinion, to be fingerprinted, so that's a good thing. You've got the nice large glove box here. We also are going to have our dual USB ports, wireless charging pad. There's your conventional style shifter. For those who are not fans of the push button shifter, guess what? You don't have to worry about that. It's not on the Accord. That's good news. And then there are the drink holders, your drive mode selector right here, and we'll show you what those are in just a little bit. And one of the tests that I like to do here, I'm 5'10", I'm sitting straight up, and my arm is down there on the armrest that doubles as the lid for the center console, but that is fairly comfortable. Could it stand to be maybe a tick higher? Yeah, maybe so, but you know what? It's not in a bad place. I like that. And we'll take a quick look into the center console, and you can see that there is a 12-volt power outlet. That has a lot of advantages. You could plug in an adapter right there to add a third USB option, since you do have the potential for 3 passengers in the back seat area. And if somebody forgets that it's a hybrid Accord and they ask you, is this a hybrid or not? You can just point right here. You don't even have to answer them. And obviously, you're going to have some additions here on the driver's side door, including the switches for all 4 windows, as well as you can lock the windows right here, lock and unlock, and adjustment for the power side view mirrors. But one thing you definitely won't find on the passenger side is going to be right here. That's going to be dual seat memory, 2 different settings. That's a good thing. And then we're going to have the ability to open the trunk right here. Just push that button. You can drop the release here and adjust the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. So let's take a quick look into the interior. I'll let you hear what happens when you hop inside. You're greeted by, I guess you would call that music or a chime. I don't know what you really call that, but there you go. You get to hear that. And here is the fully redesigned digital dashboard. When your headlights are on, you know they're on, at least during the day. Obviously at night you would know anyway, but you can see what's there as far as what happens that illuminates on the likeness of your Accord down there. It's always the same color no matter the exterior color, but in this case it looks like lunar silver, so it matches perfectly. And the head-up display is here as well. I hope that shows up well on the GoPro. You have your steering wheel mounted controls right here, nothing out of the ordinary. And then right here, these are not paddle shifters as you would often expect, that actually adjusts the regenerative braking. You can increase or decrease how that works. And if you're saying, what exactly is regenerative braking? It uses the brakes, kinetic energy basically, to keep the battery charged up for everything that's going on with the vehicle. That is a nice little feature. Obviously, push button start, you saw me use that earlier. And something that is new for 2023, the 12.3-inch touchscreen, a completely new look. And everything here is wireless. You don't need a USB cable to connect your phone. That is good news. And when you go into vehicle settings, it really has a very nice look to it as far as everything that you have here. I think Honda has done a nice job there, just upgrading things a little bit. You can see there is so much here that we could make a full video on this area of the vehicle all by itself. We're not going to do that today, but it is here, it is available, and we can go in and use the power flow meter to see what's going on with the vehicle as far as how far you can drive, what the MPGs are. They aren't going to be very impressive here simply because this vehicle doesn't have enough mileage on it to have built a lot of data over the course of time to build decent MPGs as far as what it shows you. And you do have the multi-view rear view camera here. Not anything new, but nice and clear, very vibrant look there. And then right here, you're gonna see that you have your parking sensors. It's going to let you know what's going on around the vehicle so you don't accidentally run into anything. And like I said earlier, heated and ventilated seats. I really like that feature. That's good. Not too hot right now, but later on today it will be. If I was doing this later in the day, I guarantee you those ventilated seats would be on. You have your dual zone climate control. You can sync those two together or you can unsync them if you want to. And let's take a quick look at our driving modes. We'll start here. We're going to have normal as our first mode, obviously, and then we're going to have econ, and we'll go back here, we'll go to sport mode. You can see the graphics as far as what we have there. An individual, I'm gonna wait and let that come up. Let's see here if we can get that. There we go. To show you the graphic for individual. That's pretty neat. I think Honda has done a very nice job with the graphics here. Just a little bit of added value as far as how that actually goes and how that works. Apple CarPlay is here. Like I said, wireless. You don't have to worry about that. I've already paired my phone, as you can see. In fact, speaking of pairing my phone, I know a lot of you are saying, hey Tom, let us listen to the stereo and see what it sounds like. So let's do that. Okay, let's take a listen to the Bose 12-speaker audio system. And in case you were wondering, that was actually off of one of my channel trailers I've used in the past, just to avoid having any issues with copyright or losing money or anything along those lines. But hopefully that was enough. We won't go too long with that, but a little bit of a demonstration as to what the audio sounds like. Okay, here we go on the test drive. I know I have you in a little bit of a different spot than normal, but with the window sticker over here as it is, well, obviously we don't want to block your view. And no, that is not illegal for me to drive with that being there. It's not in my direct line of sight. Yes, people do ask about that or make comments about it. So, what is it like to drive this Accord? Well, in my personal opinion, out of all of the different models available, the hybrid is really the sportiest to drive, or most sporty for grammar teachers that may be watching. Hopefully I said that correctly. I took two options at it, so I surely had it correct one way or the other. But it does have a very sporty feel to it, and it really gets down the road quite well. In fact, it accelerates quicker than what you might expect. And while I wouldn't compare it to the 2.0T, it still gets down the road. It's fun to drive. It has great handling characteristics and a good, comfortable ride quality. It may not be Cadillac butter smooth, but it's also not the same thing as driving a tank. For those who have never driven a tank, well, trust me, I'm pretty sure it's not a comfortable ride quality. I've never driven one either, but I've driven enough vehicles that don't ride well to tell you that the Accord does ride well. When people talk about something riding like a tank, well, it's usually something that has an extremely rough ride. Overall, there is a lot of space here within the interior for the driver and the passengers. You have plenty of room for cargo, for luggage, for trips, whatever the case is. a lot of good options where that's concerned. And the thing I like here is that the technology, while you have a new look, it's still just as simple to learn and use as it's been for quite a few years here with these Hondas, as far as having the latest technology available. So for those who may be saying to yourself, do you struggle to learn the technology if you've never used that before? Maybe you're holding on to your 1990 Accord and it's time to buy a new vehicle and you realize that, and you're saying, well, that 23 is quite of interest to me. Don't worry about that. It's easy to learn and easy to use. And keep this in mind. You're on YouTube right now. There are tons of videos out there that are tutorials for that very thing, that show you how easy it is to learn, how easy it is to use, and you can watch those as many times as you need to. No big deal. In my personal opinion, you could really just about use the hunt and peck method to figure everything out. When it comes to pairing your phone, it walks you through each step on the screen. It's not a big deal. So unless you have a flip phone, you're not going to have any trouble whatsoever. Boy, that would make for a viral video showing somebody trying to pair their flip phone and getting frustrated over that. I don't think I'm going to try that, mainly because I don't have a flip phone. But one way or another, a lot of advantages here to the Accord Hybrid Touring. It's a really solid car to drive, and while there's always something, maybe a few somethings that people might say, gee, I wish it had this, or wish it had that, or wish Honda had left, whatever the case is, I still think Honda has done a good job here. But I'm curious to know if you're one of those people that says, I wish something was here that isn't, or maybe something had been left from the previous generation. Tell me what that is. I'm curious to know. So now it's your turn to tell me what you think. Do you think that the 2023 Honda Accord is better than ever compared to previous versions? Tell me what your answer is and tell me why you answered the way that you did. I'm always curious to know. Obviously, there are a multitude of additional trim levels, and I think I've covered just about every one here on the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel. You can find those videos if you need to. If you would like to know about a different trim level, maybe non-hybrid, depending on what your desires are. So I have to say a special thanks to my friends here at Holmes Honda for loaning me this Accord for the day. And a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel so you can see future videos. And if you're interested in learning about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.